And this is for my Love Island besties and Love Island community that I've gained through my Love Island streaming. We are literally going to talk about Love Island and recap because we have to talk about that last episode. Like, it was so juicy. I'm surprised, but I'm not really surprised, and I wonder if you guys are surprised. I wonder if that's who you guys voted for. I'm not going to announce the winners until the end. If you already watched it, then you know. If you have not watched it and you want to just ride down with the journey with me, then let's go ahead. So we first going to talk about how that episode was 2 hours long, y'all, and I didn't even realize it till I was like almost an hour in. It was like 2 hours. Like, normally a whole episode is like an hour, so I'm like 2 hours was crazy. So we're gonna go back to Family Day. So the episode before, which is episode 35, Family Day was just an emotional roller coaster, I feel like, for us as viewers and for the Islanders as well, because they get to hear the opinions and the thoughts of what everyone has been thinking and getting their parents' approval. And it's like, people like Shelly's dad, he didn't say a word. But, you know, other people were like, I love her. She's a beautiful girl. She's perfect for you. You know, we're just hearing all types of opinions from, like, the parents or the sisters or the brothers. And it's just, like, it was emotional. And I cried because, like, they didn't get to see or hear from their family in, like, so long. It is, like, really bittersweet. And then hearing the approval for, you know, their lovers is, like, such a beautiful thing. I find it really crazy that, you know, Shelly and Ace finally closed off. They got their family's approval, and the next thing you know, they were completely voted off, which was crazy because, in my opinion, I do feel like their spot should have been given to Iris and Pepe. Honestly, I felt like out of majority of all the couples on Love Island season 7, Shell Ace was definitely a very genuine one. I feel like they did their jobs on the villa by exploring other connections and seeing where it'll work and having their tests and making their way right back to each other to know exactly who they want to be outside of the villa with. And I feel like they deserve to stay. I don't know what y'all were doing, who was voting, but y'all voted wrong. You guys voted Iris and Pepe instead of Shell Ace, or you guys voted Huda and Chris over Shell Ace. I'm like confused. I'm confused. Also, watching episode 34, was it 35, I literally was just saying, like, I'm done with Huda and Chris. I am done because I just felt like I personally keep giving them trial after trial to see if they're gonna work, to see if the like is really real, but I just felt like they're not gonna last outside of the villa. So definitely this recent episode, the finale, really surprised me, I'm not gonna lie. But I was just like, no, like, Chris really said, when he was talking about his highs and lows in the villa, and everyone was saying, oh, meeting this person or meeting this person, he said his high was basketball, playing basketball with the bros. And then he said, what's another one? I had another one. I don't have another one. Like, the way production panned the camera to Huda, like, I'll be looking just like her too. Like, dang, it's just F me then, right? So I just felt like, I don't know, it kind of gave intentionally cruel. I felt like it kind of felt intentionally, like, I just feel like as a person with common decency and common feelings, like, you wouldn't just say it like that. If anything, you could have sugarcoated it and said something like, you know, my highs is meeting all these wonderful people around here, the beautiful girl. You know, you could have lied. You didn't even have to lie. Like, literally could have just said what I just said. Like, but just say, I don't have another one. And your only high was, like, really basketball with the guys. Like, it will make somebody really feel less than. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the last episode. Back to the finale, the grand finale, where they announced the season 7 winners. Okay, we're gonna start from the top, y'all. So we know that when they went to sleep, we got to see Huda and Chris, you know, try to lay down, and Chris was actually trying to go to sleep, which we understand. We love our beauty sleep. We don't like to be bothered in our sleep, but, you know, when it comes to your significant other, sometimes you get all lovey-dovey and you just want to, you know, tend to their needs, or they want to cuddle up, you want to cuddle up. But in this case, Chris was really on some, dude, I just want to go to sleep. I know I do not want to cuddle with you. Like, dude, like, leave me alone. He was more so on that. He did not say those words, but he was just more so like, I don't want to be, you know, sleepy or grumpy in the morning. I just want to go to sleep. And Huda started counting 1, 2, 3, like as if that was her child. And I can see where Chris or maybe another guy would probably take that, like, out of context. Like, why are you counting down at me like I'm your child just because I don't want to snuggle up with you because I'm tired? So it just really gave, like, Chris didn't want to be affectionate. And it just, like I said, Episode 34, I completely checked out and tapped out with them. I don't understand why you guys kept voting for Chris and Huda, but we're gonna get into that, why I think you guys keep doing that. But it was just like, wow, like dang, that was gonna stir a pot in the morning. And the next scene switched to, you know, Nicolandria going on their first date. And it's not really their first date because, you know, when they both got kicked off the show, well, we thought they were able to have their date, so it's kind of like their second date. And I found it so cute. Like the date was so cute. It was a beautiful scenery, and then the way they both were able to shed tears and be there for each other and kind of talk deeper a little bit was really beautiful. And hearing what the world thought of them and what their parents or like their sisters thought of them, so it was definitely a beautiful moment. I definitely ship Nicolandria. I love Nicolandria. I always said, like, if I wanted anyone to win season 7, I definitely wanted to be Nicolandria or Amaya and Bryan. Now, I need you guys' help on this because I keep seeing people keep like saying, oh, Iris and Pepe had their date and Pepe basically told Iris that she was a side chick. Like, I've seen multiple tweets about this and I'm just so confused because I'm like, when did he say that? And a lot of us are saying, when did he say that? When did he say that? And the crazy thing is, we were all like, oh, y'all skipped Iris and Pepe's date too? You skipped Iris and Pepe's date too? Like, we all skipped Iris and Pepe's date. Like, there's even a viral tweet, and I have to show you guys. They put Iris and Pepe's date. Fast forward. Like, fast forward. Literally. I didn't mean to, and mine was unintentional. Like, I was really sitting there thinking back, like, when did he say that? I was like, oh snap, I didn't really pay attention to their date. Like, a lot of people didn't really pay attention to their date. I just feel like Iris and Pepe, like, they brought no spark to the season. I just felt like they were there. Not to say they weren't a gorgeous couple. I feel like they were a great couple, and I feel like they definitely had some chemistry together, and I definitely see them going a long way out of the villa, and I really wish them well. But them making it to the season finalists was a little bit crazy to me, and I don't know, they just brought nothing to the season in my opinion. But congratulations to them, and I wish them all the best. Again, as stated, it's so crazy how Shelly and Ace went home before Iris and Pepe. That is actually bizarre to me, but you know, it is what it is. So now we're gonna move on to Huda and Chris's date because their date was next. Now, out of all the dates that I've seen on season 7 Love Island USA, that was the most beautiful, I know that's not a word, but like the prettiest scenery I've seen as a date, in my opinion. Like, if I had to think of an ideal date, people went on a little boat, some people went on like a little picnic, but Huda and Chris's date was beautiful. Like, they had the entertainment, they had the singer, they were in the middle of a water with the champagne and with the food. Like, I just felt like it was so beautiful. But that was the worst date I've seen on Love Island. Like, what the heck was that? Like, what was that? Like, that was a horrible date. That was a horrible date. Imagine you go on a date and you guys are just bickering back and forth the whole entire time. You guys aren't seeing eye to eye, and you guys both look your best, but this is a horrible date. You guys are arguing and you guys are giving each other an ultimatum, and the ultimatum comes down to you guys just being friends. You guys were exploring that connection and supposed to be dating, and now, Chris, you have just been friend zoned, and it's just like, wow. Like, wow. And the simple fact that, you know, she asked Chris, kind of, you know, you're gonna pick me up, or you're gonna make me walk in the water with my heels. And Chris was like, I'm not picking you up. My jaw dropped. I was like, that's, for one, I feel like that's embarrassing on both ends, and more embarrassing for Huda, obviously, because it's like, dang girl, not only did this not work out for you, not only did it not work out with you and Jeremiah, but also he just said F you, like, again. So I definitely did not see a friend zone coming, even though episodes or a week ago I then said, like, I don't see them lasting at all. I just really wasn't expecting them to just like make it as friends. I thought they were going to keep trying where there was no more effort left, but I'm glad they ended it as just friends because that was well needed. They did not need to go further. They were not going to make it further. They were really just wasting their time. I don't feel like Chris really liked Huda like that, even though he claims he liked it. I think that he just liked the thought of her or something, or thought of having her, like a beautiful, thick, smart girl. But at the end of the day, they don't really mesh that well. They bump heads a lot. They do not see eye to eye. They do not have the perfect understanding for each other and each other's boundaries. And I don't know. It just wasn't a good fit. Time and time and time after again, people kept voting Chris and Huda, and I'm just like, why do you guys keep voting Chris and Huda? Like, can you not see what I see? Like, it's not working out, and I don't see it working out. You guys are just wasting your time. But I've learned and I've seen that people are voting for Huda, and whoever Huda is with, they're gonna vote. So I learned to find out that like Amaya has a huge, like, as America's favorite, Huda has a huge fan base. Now I'm not sure what makes her have a bigger fan base than the other girls, but she has a huge fan base. And it's to the fact that her fans have a name. I have not seen a stand name for all the other Islanders, but I have seen one for Huda. I've seen two actually. People were calling her fans hood rats, like HUDRATZ. And I even saw Sierra, the one who got, you know, kicked off the show. She had mentioned hood rats, and she was like, she thought that was the official stand name for Huda fans. Like, she didn't even know, but you know, they had to change it to Huda headquarters, Huda HQ. But yeah, Huda has a lot of fans, and they're really just trying to vote her in. And I feel like Huda fans, y'all should not have done that, because you guys could have saved her from this embarrassment and public humiliation if you guys would have just let her go. But you guys keep on voting for her to stay. And don't get me wrong, I love Huda. Like, I'm always pausing my screen. Nicolandria and Huda, I'm always pausing my screen. I just feel the need to just stare at their beauty. Like, they both literally look flawless. They're beautiful. So I love them, and I love seeing their scenes. I do not skip past their scenes. I'm paying all the much attention to them. But I just feel like Huda, I guess, maybe should have been get off the show to save her the embarrassment and humiliation that she kind of got on the show. But you guys kept voting her to stay in, all for this to happen. Like, so at the end, with their last night sleeping in the villa, Chris decided not to sleep with Huda that night after he got friend zoned, and he decided to sleep in Soul Ties. And it's just like Huda said, Chris is being so dramatic. Like, that was so dramatic. And as a guy, like, why are you being a drama queen? You did not need to go all the way outside to go sleep in Soul Ties. There were extra beds there because the other Islanders left. You could have slept on the other beds. You could have slept on the couch, but you decided to be so dramatic and go all the way out to sleep in Soul Ties. So, but it is what it is. I do wish them well, and I hope that they become, you know, good friends. I don't really see them being good friends as they claim they are going to be outside of the show, but hopefully they will. Or when we get to see the reunion coming in August, we'll see how they worked out. Now, here's a little insider. I'm not sure if you guys seen, but Chris's sister actually made like an Instagram story talking to Huda, and I'm gonna let you see what she said.
All I'm gonna say right now, before I get permission, is heal. Heal, so when a real nigga comes in your presence, you know how to accept it. Period. And I can say nigga. So
what are your thoughts on that? Like, I just feel like, girl, ew. Both of them had, it's not just Huda. I see a lot of people saying Huda is definitely the problem, and Huda is draining, that she drained Jeremiah, she drained Chris, but I don't know. I definitely get where Huda comes from, at, you know, but I do feel like Huda just has to find her match. These guys aren't it. So, you know, I don't really have much to say about her. Like, I can't really put into words. I don't know what to really think, but I'm just keep thinking yikes, because I get secondhand embarrassment for her. But I love her down, so I hope great things come for her, you know. But Chris's sister saying that, I feel like when she comes back on Instagram and social media and sees that, I wonder what will be said, or how's this gonna go, or how the Hood headquarters or whatever are gonna act. People also say like they feel like Chris and Shelly definitely would have like made it really good. So I am starting to see what people are saying. A lot of people who are watching my stream just felt like, well, since Chris couldn't get Shelly, Chris decided to get Huda just to stay in the villa. So that could have been a cause. I do feel like he was more passionate towards Shelly a little bit than Huda. So you know, the next scene, Amaya and Bryan went on their date, and I feel like that was such a gorgeous date. They had their lovely couple. I like them together. People have been making me second guess their relationship, because people are second guessing Bryan. People felt like Bryan is just in it for the money, and he doesn't really like Amaya, but Amaya is Amaya Papaya, and apparently Love Island America's fan favorite. So I don't know. They felt like she could be coupled up with a tree, and people would have chosen Amaya because she is America's favorite for Love Island. And I do wonder if that is true. But in many episodes, I felt like they were a great match together. I felt the chemistry in front of the screen. their kisses that they shared, it just felt very passionate and very real. So I don't know, what do you guys think about their relationship? Do you guys feel like he's in it for the money? Because, well, we're gonna get to the end, so we are gonna move on to the last final scenes when they're about to announce who placed who in the final list positions. Now, to the speeches, you know, each couple made a speech. The girl and the boy made a speech in each couple, and I just felt like all of them were nice. The only one that kind of alarmed me was nicolandria. Now, I felt like when I heard Nick's speech to Landria, it kind of made me a bit uneasy because he mentioned something like, you know,
Not sure where we're going, whether we become partners, lovers, or best friends.
you know, they can be friends, they like best friends, they can be lovers. You know, it kind of made me question it a bit because it's just like, I was hoping it would be a reassurance and a confident thing that they're going to be together, or they can be together, not just as best friends, but as actual lovers or in a relationship. I know that they did not close off, but his speech kind of made me a bit uneasy. It just felt very friendship-ish with a little crush or a secret admirer type of vibe to it, but nothing more. All the other speeches were awesome and magnificent. I felt like they were all very cute and heartwarming. Even Chris and Huda's speech to each other was very beautiful. I don't know if it was kind of faked or based on their relationship, I don't know, but it sounded good, and that's all that matters for the show. So when it came down to a season 7 finale in their places, you know, they placed first winner, second winner, third winner, fourth winner, and they start from 4 up until 1. So this had our hearts beating, even though we kind of already knew who was going to win, because production kind of did a bad job making it secretive. I felt like they kept on drinking the amaya papaya drinks. They kept on showcasing a lot of amaya stuff, kept putting amaya in all the previews before the episode aired. Like, it was just such a huge spotlight on amaya. So it just, for us looking or watching or reading or scrolling, it was like, okay, we get it. Like, it was giving Amaya's probably about to win this. The way they were just making it so obvious, like, we already knew, so it was nothing to be really surprised about. So, drumroll please. In 4th place came Iris and Pepe. Now, Iris and Pepe looked very surprised that they were in 4th place, and it's like, I don't know where else they thought they were going to be. Like, did you think you were going to come as your top 2 couples? Like, first of all, I feel like Shelly and Ace should have had y'all spot. Like, anyways, but yeah, they stood to the side and drank their champagne and whatnot. In 3rd place came Chris and Huda, and they looked very surprised. I felt like maybe they thought they were going to be in 4th place, but they became in 3rd place. And honestly, I feel like Chris probably would have took home all the money. They didn't really like each other for real, but I feel like they were trying. I feel like really Chris didn't really like her, but I've already said my own on that. Let me know your thoughts. For our top 2 came down to nicolandria versus Amaya and Bryan, and obviously, like we all expected, the winners came out to be Amaya and Bryan. So they won. You know, Amaya did her little, got the zoomies where she ran across the whole villa, well, the outside of the villa, which was so funny. Like, she was so excited, and I felt like she was so deserving. She was definitely a very, very, very misunderstood woman, and I loved how she always held her own. She always stood 10 toes on how she felt. She was also very forgiving. She always spoke up and defended herself as she should, and she was always there for the other girls whenever they were going through something or needed someone to talk to. She was always there. So I felt like Amaya is such a sweet girl, and she's also a nurse, and you know, she comes from a Dominican background where things are misunderstood for maybe other Americans or other nationalities. So I love that she won. She was definitely one of the people who I wanted to win. If it wasn't her, I always said nicolandria, wanted them to win. Now, one thing I don't like about how Love Island operates is because basically once the winner of Love Island is announced, they literally give one person $0 and one $100,000, and whoever picks the envelope with $100,000 has to decide if they were here for love or the money, and they either decide that they want to keep the full $100,000 or they will split it 50-50, which is 50K for one and 50K for the other. So I just felt like the ultimatum is kind of crazy, because I just feel like, why even feature that? Obviously they're gonna say 50-50 because they don't want to look like they just came here for the money. Do you know how much backlash criticism and hatred that person will get that says like, oh, I will, you know, I loved you, I liked you or whatever, but you know, I actually just came here for the money. Like, it's gonna be crazy. Like, you know, they're gonna say 50-50. Like, I feel like they should do something else of a different challenge, but that little challenge is kind of stupid to me. But obviously Bryan said 50-50, which as we all expected that he would. We didn't expect anything less. But yeah, a lot of people do feel like they are wary about Bryan, and that yes, Amaya deserved it, but the people also feel like Amaya only got it because she was a fan favorite. They felt like production picked her because she was a fan favorite, but I feel like obviously she was a fan favorite, the fans picked her. Obviously they wanted her to win, and I feel like if they were faking it, if Bryan was faking it with Amaya as, you know, a great relationship so they can win the 100K, he did a pretty dang good job at faking it. Like, I felt it. I do feel like they actually had a real genuine connection. I don't feel like it was fake like a lot of people think, but that's just me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And obviously coming in second place was Nick, Mr. Nicholas, Mamacita, whatever, and Nicolandria. I love them together, and let's see what happens with them outside the villa. I really do hope that they really explore each other actually in a relationship because they're so cute together. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know what more to say about them. I know a lot of people are rooting for them, so we hope to see them together. I feel like Nick and Alandra didn't expect to make it this far. Nick didn't expect it to make it this far. You know, they both were supposed to get voted off, and they had a chance to redeem themselves. So I feel like they're both just grateful that they were able to make it to top 2 and know that they're really, really loved by America to be able to be in the top 2. And like, I don't know if you guys saw the episode where Nick said he only brought like and packed like 6 outfits because he didn't expect to stay that long. 6 outfits is like 6 days. He only expected to stay 6 days, but instead he stayed like 6 weeks. So I just feel like they're probably just grateful at the end of the day. So I didn't see any ill will or any shock that, oh wow, like I'm surprised or anything. So I'm glad for the winners, the top 2 couples. Very glad. Yes, congratulations to them or whatever. That is the end of this recap. So again, Huda and Chris, wow. Huda HQ, you guys kept voting her in, and I love seeing her. I mean, I'm kind of glad that y'all did, but also I'm kind of like, dang, y'all could have spared her the embarrassment if y'all would have just let her go. You guys kept voting for her and her couple to stay in, and I've never seen a couple have a date and argue the whole date and end things with each other in that one date. And Iris and Pepe, they were there. Yeah, I don't really have nothing to say to them. And Amaya and Bryan, let's see how far it goes. And Nicolandria, I hope that they really do make it outside the villa. I love them. So yeah, that is it. Season 7 reunion coming, I think August 25th, and we just got the word that Mr. Andy Cohen or whatever will co-host Love Island season 7 reunion with Ariana Madix on August 25th. I'm really excited about that. If you guys do not know him, this is what he looks like. He actually does like the reunions and hosts for Real Housewives of, I think all the Real Housewives, but I specifically watch Real Housewives of Atlanta. So love him on there. I feel like he's going to ask the juicy questions. So I feel like it's going to be a great reunion. We're going to try to watch it together. We'll see. If you are somebody from my live stream, I really do appreciate you guys for watching all of my lives and us sitting back and talking about it. You guys sitting on my lives and we're chatting all about it. You guys have been great company. I didn't go to any watch parties because you guys were my watch party. I really did enjoy bonding with Love Island. I'm gonna miss it so much, but you know, we'll tune into the reunion and we'll get back to it next summer, and who knows, you guys might just see me on there. No, we never know what the future holds. If you guys are gonna audition, please let me know. I'm rooting for you. But in the comments, make sure you guys give me your feedback, your comments, your questions, your concerns. I want to hear it all. Like I said, I love talking Love Island with y'all. But make sure you guys tune into my other videos. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe and share. See y'all in the next video.
I've been losing friends and finding peace. Honestly, that sound like a fair trade to me.